In this video, we'll take a look at how to write research questions. But before we do that, let's just step back a minute and look at what is the purpose of research. Well, first of all, it's to generate information and data, and that's what you'll be doing with your research project. It's also to analyze topics from a new perspective. Remember, at the very beginning we talked about the difference between dialogues and dialectics, and using critical thinking and critical analysis to come up with a new way of looking at a topic. And also to contribute to the knowledge base about your topic. Now, specifically, the purpose of research for this course is for you to gain a new perspective on your trend, issue, or problem that you're researching, and for you to share that perspective with all of us. That way, it'll give us all a better or different understanding of the topic than what we had before we started the class. Also, one of the main points of this is to give you experience with research. As you go through your career, you'll be required or expected to be familiar with research-based practices, and the more you know about how research is conducted by actually doing it yourself, the better you'll understand the research studies that you'll be examining. So the process for this course is that first you review the literature on the topic, which all of you have already started. You were reading your textbook, you've started reviewing articles about your topic, and that's typically how research studies begin. First with a review of the literature about what's already been written and researched about the topic. And then you develop research questions based on what's already known. Then what do you want to know specifically about your topic? Now, in this class, you're going to present your topic to the group to give us a background information about the research topic, what you've learned, and then you'll start collecting data. Now, the way we're going to collect data in this class, there's lots of ways to collect data, but we're just limiting it to 2 for this class. First of all, you're going to post questions to the discussion board, and then people in class will respond to your discussion board post, and you'll moderate that discussion board, treating it almost like an interview. Also, you're going to develop a 10-question survey that you'll administer to people outside of this course. Then you'll get all your data back, and we'll talk about how you'll analyze the data. And finally, you'll share your results and your recommendations based off of what you've learned about the topic through your research. Now, in this course, the next step that everyone's going to take is to develop 3 research questions. So for your research questions, you want to take your topic or just a perspective of the topic that interests you. So you're just going to take a small slice of the topic. Everybody has very broad topics that you've been working on. So then you're going to examine the trends, issues, and problems related with your topic, and then list some possible research questions. You'll post those research questions on the discussion board this week. You'll be broken into 3 small groups, and you'll help each other during the week through the discussion board to refine those research questions. So don't worry, the first posting you put up all the research questions, don't worry about it being perfect, because you'll get feedback from everybody else in the class. Sometimes you look at things and it makes sense to you, but then when others read it, you can see that it doesn't make as much sense to them. So you'll be posting those to the discussion board and getting feedback. Then on our next Collaborate session on September 25th, what you'll need to do is bring your 3 research questions with you to the Collaborate session, because we'll be doing more with them from there, taking them to the next step. So, what makes a good research question? Well, a good research question is narrow, and it's also challenging. And it also addresses an issue, a problem, or a controversy. It's not something about which we already know all about. So we're looking at something very specific that people are interested in finding more about. And a research question is something that can be answered with a conclusion based on your analysis and interpretation of the evidence that you collect through your research. So some of the common mistakes people make when writing research questions are too vague or too broad. You wouldn't be able to collect enough data to be able to answer them. Or the research question could be too narrow. You're so specific that people might not have the information that you need to be able to answer the question. On the other hand, it could be not focused enough, or it could be too diffuse. It's hard to develop a really good research question. The other common mistake is to try and develop a question that's not easily measured. On the other hand, you could find something or develop a question that's measurable, but not that important. We want to find something that is important in the field of education. And then a common mistake that's made even as people go through master's and doctoral programs is they write research questions where they're trying to prove a point. They go in already with an idea in their head that, well, I want to prove that the reading program that we have in our school district is terrible, or I want to prove something else. When you develop your research questions, they need to be unbiased, and you have to go in with an open mind because you have to see what the data indicates once you've done your research. So here's an example of some good research questions related to online learning, so it might sound familiar. What are the barriers encountered when taking an online course as perceived by students enrolled in a graduate education program? So you could see how a question like that could be answered through a discussion board or through surveys as well. How do the barriers differ according to gender? And do the barriers affect the successful completion of assignments? So while there are 3 different questions here, they're all related and they're all looking at the same concept but from a slightly different angle, or they're narrowing it down a little bit more. So this is an example of three good research questions related to online learning, which is a very broad topic, but these questions focus in more narrowly. So for this week, what you're going to do is write 3 research questions related to your topic. You're going to post them on your group's discussion board. You'll provide feedback to everyone in your group, and you'll review 3 research articles as well. And when you review the research articles, that can get you thinking also of good research questions when you see some examples. Now, I can't guarantee that every article that you look at will have good research questions, but at least most of them were published, or if you're looking at a dissertation, it was approved, so they have gone through some refining.